Well, good morning. And welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. I am so excited to hang out here with you. We're just waiting for Instagram to catch on with everything. But my name is Wendy, and oh, there we go. There we go. Now we are rocking. Here we go. Welcome, Instagram. So, my name is Wendy, and this is a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus podcast, where we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes to an hour with a full face makeup tutorial. And then we're also going to be talking about how God loved us first. So, we're going to be hanging out in Romans again today. So I just want to start out with a little bit of a moment of, I guess we'll call it confession. So I have had a rough week. Have you? It happens. So my rough week, kind of in the middle of it, I knew at the beginning of it that we were going to come down to it, and then halfway through the week it happened. And my beloved dog of 11 and a half years, Phoebe, just came to the place where her arthritis was just too much, and I had to make a very tough decision for her benefit. Oh, I said I wasn't going to cry. All right, so that kind of took the wind out of my sails. I'm sure that we have all had rough weeks, and it just kind of gets you down for a moment. But as a result of that grief, and the admission that I am not a superwoman, I just could not make everything happen this week, which also brought me to the realization that everything in this world, it is not what's important. The good news that we're talking about over this 13-week study that we're doing about the good news about the gospel of Jesus Christ, that is what is important. And so it really brought down to me the wonderful truth, that balm to the sorrow that I was and am experiencing, was the truth that God loved me first. And that's what matters. So one of my happy colors, I don't know why, but whenever I look at the color yellow, it just makes me want to smile. So today we're going to be hanging out in the Splashy Candies palette again, as we're working our journey through that, because I'm all about using a palette to its maximum. So today we're going to be hanging in that yellow section in the hopes that while it brings me great joy, that color will also bring you some happiness and some peace and something fun to play with today. So today we're going to be hanging out in yellow, which is my happy color. As we do a makeup tutorial on women over 40, we're going to get a beautiful yellow eyeshadow makeup look. We're going to use UCANBE, and we're going to use some MAC, and we're going to be hanging out and talking about Romans 5:8. So that's what we're going to be up with today. So go ahead and grab your lashes, grab your palette, grab your brushes, and then get on back here. And let's get going, talking about the love of Jesus and looking at some happy color. All right.
A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Thursdays at 8. Can't wait. Come on in, sis. Grab your joy, take your place. We're talking beauty, talking scripture, talking God's good grace. From blush to Bible, he's the one who makes us glow. Faith on your lips, love in your soul.
Oh. Sorry, I was trying. I know. Me either. Okay, so, thank you. I've got some good afternoons from around the world. I got a couple of good evenings. I got some good mornings. Thank you. It is a delight to hang out with you. So whatever it is that your time zone is and what time of day you're experiencing, I am just thrilled to have you hanging out with us here this morning. And I see lots of requests for it. No, I did not put a picture of my dog in our thing today because I didn't know that I could handle that. So this just happened on Saturday evening late, and maybe I'll share a picture later. If you are on my Facebook, I believe I posted a picture of her on Facebook, and I do have a video in the works, but every time I start working on this tribute video, I start crying. So that will eventually come, but she was a black lab initially. And then when she passed away, she was a silver lab. So she was a beautiful dog. Her name was Phoebe. And it was a joy to get to be her dog mom for all those years. And we're not told in scripture whether or not animals that pass away here go to heaven. But I choose as a personal belief, unsubstantiated by scripture, that one day in the happiness and glory of heaven, we will get to see our beloved pets again. But I have no scriptural foundation for that particular belief. Okay, so our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And I said it a minute ago, but we're working through a 13-week series. We're just on week 5 right now. So, totally able to catch in there. We're talking this week in week 5 about how God loves sinners, where our primary verse is going to be Romans 5:8. And this is, yes, that is correct. This is also the one that we looked at last week. We're just going to live in that for a minute, because what great news is that? God did not wait around for you thinking that you could make yourself good enough to be loved by him. He already loved you before you were even born. But now I'm going to step into a sermon, so we're going to step back just a little bit. The coloring sheets for the weekly lessons are going to be on Instagram in picture form. If you are in the Beauty and Grace Insiders program, which lives in YouTube, then you get the PDF. So it makes it super easy to either do that online, like on your iPad or tablet or computer or something like that. You could fill it out in there. Or use Procreate to color in all the things. And so that's super easy for the Beauty and Grace Insiders. For the rest of you, the coloring sheet did go out in email. So if you're not on the email list, go ahead and go to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com, and you'll get all the flashcards and the images for the coloring sheet. All right. I don't think the Color Me, that's a great question. The colormethegospel.com. I don't think it has anything on there yet. I was a little preoccupied this weekend, so I will do my best to get that up and running for you, but you can get it in the email. And I was just looking at the Instagram yesterday evening, and I saw all 5 weeks are on Instagram as well. Yes, in answer to that, they are on the YouTube, the post section, but YouTube limits everything to a square, so you don't get the whole thing. So head over to Instagram or the Facebook page, and you can get much better images over there for that, so that you can work through these lessons. And I love the word things that we get to do with the words in the verses. Really kind of makes you think about the verse in a little bit different way. All right. And so our verse for, actually technically week before last, we looked at, in week 4, we looked at the cost of sin. So we started out, we talked about how we were created by God. Then we looked at how God is holy. Then we talked about the cost. Let's see. No, then we went to we are sinners. Then we went to the cost of sin. And this week we are at, God loved us in spite of ourselves. So the cost of sin. So Romans 6:23, which is the first part of the verse, for the wages of sin is death. And that song that was for that week actually looked at the whole verse so we could get a complete thought for the song. And then the verse that we're going to be looking at and focusing on this week is week 5, which is God loves sinners, or the name of the song is God loved first. You can see that at the bottom of that slide right there. So Romans 5:8. But God showed his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So, in all of this that I've been going through this past week, and whatever it is that you've been going through this past week, maybe you have had a marvelous week. And if so, I am so excited for you. But if you didn't, the great news is, and a wonderful focus to look at to kind of pull you out of what you might be in or experiencing, is to remember that God loves you. And all the rest of that, you can just kind of set that aside. So this week, yes, and I so agree with that, Anthea. Makeup can lift your spirits and build self-esteem. That is absolutely true. But when you combine that with the love of God, kablam! You have just had a wonderful and marvelous experience. So I love merging these two things together. So again, this week, we're going to be hanging out in the Splashy Candies palette. And this is from UCANBE. It has, I don't remember how many quadrants. Well, anyways, there's different color quadrants on this. Last week, we're hanging out in the blue. This week, we're going to be hanging out in the yellow. So you can use that QR code to get there. You can go to a little bit of makeup and whole lot of Jesus.com, go to the shop, and you'll see all the newest ones are what's going to be at the beginning. So you'll be able to find those things. The show notes also have the products listed in there. So if there's anything that I have used that you want to try out or test, or maybe see if you have a dupe for or something like that, then that will be in there. Now, speaking of dupes, we're going to use a lip liner color today. I don't think Urban Decay is actually making it. So when I can't find the exact product I'm using, I will find a dupe for it. And so today, for example, our Urban Decay lip liner that I'm going to be using, because I happen to have one, has a dupe from NYX. And so I try to put that in there so that you have options and choices. Maybe you have that same pencil sitting in your drawer, but if not, now you've got a choice and something to play with. So I love making the most of what you have. I am not a proponent for jumping out and buying everything new, unless it just has something amazing. And so that's why we are just working through the, there we go. 6 different sections in that Splashy Candies palette. I should look at my own imagery. Okay, so Splashy Candies, look in your show notes and you'll see the link for that. Okay, so we have got the verse scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Now, I missed a couple of things. The first thing I missed was I said good morning to you, but I don't know that I offered you to say good morning to me. So give me a shout out wherever you are from. Give me a good morning and then an emoji for whatever time of day it is where you are. There are sunsets, there are shiny, there is rain. If there's rain, I'm going to be jealous because we don't have any around here. All right, so shout out for today. Can women over 40 really pull off a bright yellow eyeshadow look without looking crazy? Well, what fun would that be? Okay, so go ahead and drop me some yellow hearts in the chat, whether you think that is a thing that can happen or not. Let me see what you got. And you are listening in the background. I can't barely hear it myself, so let me actually turn that up just a little bit. You are listening in the background to God Loved First by Sailor Soul. That is the music that goes with this. On YouTube, in the post section or community, I don't remember what it's called now. You'll see that there's a link to the video for that song. It's not the lyric video yet, but that will let you listen to it. In the show notes, you're going to find the links to, I think it's a top 3. It's like YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. So put that in there for you to make it super easy. And again, it is the whole verse, Romans 5:8. So love that. One of the other things that I love is that in the songs, the scripture is actually quoted directly. So that helps you to memorize that Bible verse, to hide that verse deep in your heart, like our foundation verse of the podcast. All right, I see them yellow hearts dropping. Woo! So let's just jump in. We're going to play with some stuff today. Here we go. So I have got the Professional Primer from Benefit. And we're just going to uncap that. We're going to give that a little bit right here. There we go. This is going to smooth out fine lines and wrinkles. This is going to help your foundation to stay and last better. You know, if you want to know a difference as to whether or not this primer works, put your foundation on one day without it. Take a close-up picture. Maybe a video. You can get a little closer with video. And then the next day, do it without it and take a close-up or a video. And then look at the two. And then you will see the difference that primer makes, because it really does even out, especially where you don't even, like down here around my chin. And I also use it around my lips. I got distracted there. I use it around my lips too to keep you from bleeding out lipstick. So even around here, you're going to see that these little nooks and crannies and crevices, maybe you have a little bit of just unevenness in the texture, maybe a little bit of larger pores. All of that will look better and be smoothed out with a great primer. Yay! Oh my goodness, 90 degrees in England. Woo! Yeah, I didn't even know y'all got that hot. So, and I see lots of good mornings, more yellow hearts. Okay, we're gonna prime. Now that we got the face primed, we're using bright colors today. Well, not like bright, neon or anything, but bright colors. And we want them to show their nicest, truest, best. So we're going to grab our Juvia's Place I Prep I Prime. I am the shade 1. I'm going to shake that just so we get that nice. And we're going to get that right there. There we go. I am going to be a little bit generous with it today because the yellow is such a light color. And I definitely want the yellow to be able to be its yellowy best. So we're going to go a little heavier than I do sometimes. There we go. And that's just going to really lift and elevate that area so that all the colors that you have, dark colors, light colors, whatever, the color that you are seeing in the palette, if it's a good palette, it should be the color that you get to see on your eyes. Okay, so that is a great kind of comment there. So Anthea says, I can really feel the difference when I don't have a primer. The foundation is just dragging across my Gen X cheeks. That is so true. You will feel a difference, not just in its wearability, the foundation's wearability, but also in how your skin responds throughout the day to that foundation and the blush and the highlighter and the concealer and everything you're putting on there. So it will behave differently and you will feel it different. Also, it just goes on smoother. Okay, so now we got that on there. Now we're ready to do some stuff. So I'm going to grab my Lancome Tinty Dole concealer, all over concealer. This is shade 090, the super lightest one that they have. We're going to start with that. And I did just the other day grab a L'Oreal one. I took that on my trip with me, and I'm probably going to start using that. This one's almost out, so probably going to start using that one. But this is a little pricey, so unless you find that on sale, although I dearly love it, I would dare say that a dupe for this is going to be the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. I really like that one. It's definitely full coverage, goes on about the same, maybe a little bit thinner as far as consistency goes, but super nice. So there you go. There's your drugstore dupe for this one. We're going to go under the eye. You are going to put this anywhere that you have anything you want to not be there. So if you have a little bit of redness, if you've got some hyperpigmentation, little flecks of darkness, like right in here, I've got some darkness on the inside of my eye. I don't really like that. I would like for that to be lifted. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. I have redness here. I got some redness here. And then we're going to blend that out when we get to that in just a second. And that will help get some of that redness gone too. Because I don't really have rosacea, but I do have a little bit pinky. So we're going to take our middle finger, which is a lighter pressure finger. We're going to take that concealer and just go right up under the eye, all the way up to the lashes. And then we're just going to tap right there on the edge and let that blend out a little bit. There you go. Same thing on the other side. Just get that all the way up to that lash line. And then blend out the edge right there on the inside. And then the redness I've got right here, I'm just going to feather the edge of that out. I got redness here, so I'm just going to soften that. And then we got it down here for the redness that I have on my chin. And we're just going to let that feather out as well. All right. There we go. Now, today for foundation, I'm going to use my recently whacked Real Techniques Miracle Air Blend sponge. Love this sponge, but it has a little bit, the pores are kind of wider on it. And so whenever it starts to get a little tore up, just whack the top off. Just use a pair of scissors and cut the top off. You can just keep on going down. The core is the same as the outside. I'm going to use my Lancome Tinty Dole foundation today. And close to this on the, because this one, unless you get it on sale, which this one was, a little pricey. You may try the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Pro Wear Matte Foundation. That is a nice texture, consistency. I can't remember if they put SPF in that one or not. I think they do. But that one, again, the consistency is just a little bit lighter than what this has, but very, very comparable to each other. Definitely full coverage. If you're doing like a wedding or something, you may have to do like a twice to get a really true full coverage, but very, very nice. So again, Lancome Tinty Doll. We're going to take that Miracle Air Blend sponge, one pump. And we're just going to tap that around. And you know, I did not say this earlier. I'm so sorry. For those of you who said, sorry to hear about your dog. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, we're just tapping that around. I've got like this little foldy thing in here. Does anybody else have that right there? It's not like a wrinkle. It's just like I don't think I want to stick their foundation place. So if you give it a little bit of tension and then tap it in there, you should be good. We're just going to go around the edge of that jawline, soften that edge a little bit. Well, let's give us just a little partial pump there. Still make sure my hair's out of the way. And then we're just going to work that gently up into that hairline. Not like in the hair, but you want to go right up to it so that you can't see a line or a differentiation between your foundation and your hairline there. And I'm going to go over that brow area just so that we've got coverage in there as well. Oh, yes. Hands down agree with that. If you are on a limited budget, but you want to splurge on one thing, or what one thing would be the most important? The one thing that I would say to splurge money on, hands down, would be foundation. Because if you don't get that part right, the rest of it is going to look a mess anyways. So you need to find what works for your skin type, what has the best color selection for your skin tone. Some of my favorites that are universally good across different skin types and have wonderful selections. Fenty would be that, but I would consider that a medium buildable foundation, so it depends on the level of coverage you want. If you're looking for like a medium full coverage, Fenty, I would definitely say. Wonderful color selection and also some of the best undertones. So they've got a wide variety of undertones. Then I would also say Lancome has done a really good job of a variety of shades. I don't remember how many number of shades they're up to now, but they've really worked diligently to expand that. I love the Lancome foundation. If you have combo or oily skin, I would also say the Double Wear foundation from Estee Lauder. Great foundation as well. When they changed the formulation a couple years ago, it started to not be my favorites anymore, but it's definitely a good one. And while I love different mascaras, I don't think mascara is one of those things that you need to spend, $50 a tube for. But yes, I would definitely say if you're going to splurge on one thing, make it your foundation. So whoever that was you're watching, they got some smarts. It wasn't me, so I didn't just flatter myself. Okay. Okay, now that we've got our foundation all on there, we have an even color playing field that we're working with. We're going to set that and then move on to some color. So, let's see. Primark does a good mascara for, compared to Rimmel. Okay. I know mascara-wise, when I went on my trip, I got this Maybelline Falsies Surreal Mascara. And it is like half the price of some of the other ones that I had been using. And I'm liking it perfectly fine. It does wonderful for waterproof use. It has a great amount of ounces in it. One thing you have to be careful of is if you buy a mascara that seems cheaper, but it only has like 0.1, ounce in there, then really, or 0.01, whatever, you've gotten, most of them are around 0.33. So if you've got one that's got less than that, but it's cheap, well, yeah, because you basically bought half the product. So just like when you compare the prices of apples and canned goods and all that, you go by the ounce price. That's what you're going to want to do in mascara as well. So Juvia's Place, we're going to use our I Am Magic Silky Finishing Powder. This is cotton candy. If you have a darker skin tone, this is going to be something that you're probably just going to use around the under eye area. If you have lighter skin like me, you can just kind of go all over it. So we're going to take our quarter, really? Triangle. We're going to take our triangle and we're going to use a pointy tip. We're going to go under the eye and in that corner. There you go. Oh, yay! Well, happy that mascara conversation happened in a timely fashion. And now that we've got the triangle going under here, we're going to switch to the wide end. You're just going to press that in, tap that out. If you have a lighter skin as well, this in their regular colors, I think I've used coconut, and right now I'd be a vanilla, I think. Coconut is a little bit paler as well. Has more of a neutral undertone to it, or this one's a little bit pinky. So, use what works for you. I know that at Ulta, they have testers of these things out. So use your good sanitization. They have their own policies, but use your mind for being clean when you're using these testers. But you can test that and try that. Do not be that person that tests it on the back of their hand. The back of your hand is not going to tell you how that's going to feel on your face or be able to shade match your face. Inside of your wrist, inside of your arm. Don't believe that. Do it on your face. You're just going to need to use sanitary practices when you do that. The other thing would be places like Ulta have a return policy. So find the color that you genuinely believe it is going to match your skin tone, purchase it, use that 100% new clean product at home. If it does not work right on your skin, if you do not like that color that was perceived correct, then take it back and exchange it for another color or a different product. That is a beauty of some of these makeup stores, that they allow you to do that. So if you don't like the idea of using a tester in a store, don't. Okay, here we go. We're just going to close that. Oh, it didn't make the awful sound. Okay, that for whatever reason, those Juvia's Place lids make the worst sounds. Okay, so now we're all just one color. Let's go ahead and get some color back in there where we want it. So I'm going to grab my UCANBE multi-face palette. And I'm going to be living right here in this one. You can see I'm already to pan right there. So I love that color. I'm going to grab my foundation brush from It Cosmetics. I'm going to use this end right here. We're just going to go in this right here. Give it a couple of swipes. We're going to go from the top of the ear in a curved motion right to the corner of the eye there. Then we're going to go right beside that temple and then just kind of make a triangle out of that. Just blend those together there. We're going above the hollow of that cheek there to lift that area up. And then we're going to lift up this way. That's going to lift it as well. So same thing on the other side. Top of the cheek, curved to the corner of the eye. Then we're going beside the hairline there and then just blending those together. Now we got some cheeks. I'm going to use the side of this. We're just going to go here, give it a couple swipes. We're going to go from right underneath that ear. Well, it's not really under the ear. It's right here. Under that jawline to the corner of the mouth, right there. That's going to give you an end right there. Kind of cut out that little extra chin thingy that you got. If you don't have an extra chin thingy, well, stop bragging. All right, so we're going to use the same side again. We're going to go from the inside of the eye to right down here. It'll even if you don't have an extra chin right here, it'll still give you a nice finish to your face. I'm going to go right under the tip of that right there. That's just going to narrow our nose and give us a runway for our highlighter. I'm going to switch to the fat part of that. We're going to go right there. I did say fat. Yes, I did. I'm going to go right here and right here. And then we're just going to blend that together, kind of going up in that hairline a little bit. We're just going to bring that hairline down a little bit. There we go. Now we need a little bit of color. Now today, I think I've used this color, but last time I looked, and it looks like the last time I used this was like 2024. I don't know what is going on. This is the Juvia's Place Blushed Volume 6. So let me show you this. Woo! That is some beauty there. Now, we're going to be brave. You can't be wearing yellow eyeshadow and not be brave. So just jump in with both feet. We're going to be brave. We're going to do this one right here. I'm going to grab my blush brush from MAC. These are pigmented, so use this sparingly. So we're just going to go like doop doop. See that? Look how much is there. We're going to go right. So our bronzer ended right, or our low ended right here. You're going to go right on the halfway between there and your skin. And you can see we're just giving it a nice kind of peachy glow. I'm just going to tap that once. We're going to go up here across. I think I may just give me a little more peachy right there. Just a little bit. And this will all make sense. Well, yes, I know it's bright. That's why I said just do it gently. So the good thing is, because there's a lot of pigment to this, you are going to have this. I probably have had this for longer than I should have it, but it's still in such great condition and it wears wonderful. So we're just going to keep on using it. Okay. This is my Anastasia brush. We are going to be in the Chameleon today. So this is from Wet n Wild. This has just a nice shimmer shifting color. And this is going to go, well, you'll see when we get to the yellow part of the shadow. So we're just going to give that a little bit of brush right there. Get that on that tip, right on the top of that cheekbone, and then right beside that eye socket. And then I'm going to go right here. I'm going to start at the ball of the nose, and I'm going to go up just a little bit. And then right here, making sure I hit that Cupid's bow. That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. Thank you, Wet n Wild. Thank you, Wet n Wild. Okay. So let's say, let me ask you this question. No, let's say a verse and then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, so the verse is scrolling across the bottom of your screen. We're going to say that together and then we're going to do our lips. Okay, but God shows his love for us and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. Okay, so now you're going to get your emojis ready. Get your emojis ready. Here's a question for you. Have you ever loved a pet? Cat, bird, dog, fish? What else is left? Polar bear? Like in person, hugged, loved, pet, fed, watered a pet. Show me an emoji of the animals that you have loved. Maybe you're a multi-animal lover like myself. So show me some emojis of pets that you have loved, whether they are still with you or they are gone. Let me see what you got. While we are doing that, and I'm seeing, I see lots of different things. Oh, rat. Okay. You know what? That's not my thing, but I'm happy that you have loved a rat. I got some in my attic you can have. No, for real. I saw one coming out the other day. Okay. That's another conversation. Okay, so I've got my Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so I've got some Urban Decay. This is a lip liner, and this color is called Bang. This was the one I was telling you about earlier. So I've got a dupe for you from NYX. That is in the show notes. So enjoy that NYX dupe. Oh, birds. And that is Anthea, that's a red bird. Is that cardinals? Oh, a budgie. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, so we have two, we mostly call them parakeets here, but budgie, parakeet, that is what they are. We have two in our office right now, Ghost and Tweety. So yeah, I could put them too. All right, so we're going to take that lip liner and we're going to start out in the center here. We're just going to give our little bit of a V there. And then right here on the bottom. I just gotta, there is no emoji for a hedgehog. Let's go ahead and round out this top part to the outside corner. When my youngest was, I think she was a teenager, she had a hedgehog. I got dogs and cats showing up. There we go. Now that we've got that lip liner on, we're just going to take a step back, make sure we like the shape of that. I see rabbit. How cute. Okay, so we're going to take a step back, make sure we like the shape of that. It's even on both sides. And again, that went just outside my lip line a little bit so I could capture just a little bit of extra real estate. Now, our lip thing that we're doing today is going to actually have two steps to it. This is going to be the first part of it. We'll do the last part at the very, very end. Those are... Okay, so... Okay, I got to put this up there. Okay, so I get this one with monkeys, and I'm like, oh, how cute, monkeys. And then I realize she's talking about her kids. Okay, that's greatness. That's greatness. Oh, I didn't tell you what I was doing. I'm grabbing, this is my MAC. This is the Maximal Matte, and this is called No Correlation. So we're going to grab that one here. And again, this will be a two-step lip thing. So we're going to do this first part right here, and then we'll do the last part much later on. So here we go. Oh, let's see. Hold on. I've got my cursor over there. I don't have any pets now. People ask me why I didn't get pets for children. I said, I've already got 2 wild animals at home. I don't need any more. I love that. You know, that's true. If you are married, whether you have kids or not, you have a child. You just have an adult child. Okay, here we go. So we're going to take that. We're going to use the tip of that to our advantage. First, we're going to start out just filling in the void on the chunky part of your lip. There we go. Now we're going to use that tip, and we're going right up to that to that lip liner part with the tip of that. Because these are almost the same color, you don't even have to go all the way to the outside edge because the lipstick is just going to blend with it. So let's go ahead and get that lined out. There we go. Now the bottom. Okay. Yes, so the top part, the tip is going up like this. When I do the bottom part, I turn it and do it like this. So that way it can get all the way to the edge. It just allows you to get a nice clean edge on that bottom. Now we're going to save the lips. We're going to leave it right here. And we're going to do something to those lips here in just a second. So we're just going to hang on to that. And now I'm going to grab my Splashy Candies palette. flashy candies. Let's take that little sleeve off. Let's see what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so we're going to be hanging out in this yellow section right here. And as we go along, I'm going to tell you a couple things depending on your skin tone and your eye color that may help you tweak this look for you. Because what's going to look great in this quadrant on me may not be the same on you if you have green or hazel eyes. May not be the same on you if you have olive tone skin. So we'll kind of talk about that as we go through that. Yes, absolutely. As we go through that, we'll just talk about that along the way. So I'm going to start out by grabbing a fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M441. And we're going to start out right here in this, that color right there. Just ever so gently, not too much. We're just going to give like a little tap. And then just get that right up there. Oh, yeah, that was a little more than a little tap, Wendy. Okay, that's okay. We can soften that out. So we're just going to blend that out. Here we go. So when you're heavy-handed, you can just do that. Oh, nice. Yes. What do they call that? They call that sister from another sister something. There's an expression. I don't remember what it is. And if I just said something bad, I'm sorry. I know better than to say things I don't fully understand. Okay. Yes. Well, you are my sister. All right. And so might as well be, I might well be an empty nester this time next year. You know, that is an amazing thing. A gift. My mom is still not an empty nester, so I didn't have somebody I could ask about it because she still has one of my siblings at home, which is great because, if I'm 58, my parents are older. And so the wonderful thing is that gives her some great opportunities. And then really, my parents both had knee replacement surgeries. And so that allowed our family to have somebody in the home to kind of, keep an eye and let us know if we needed to help out with anything or if anything needed to be done around the house or whatever. So, but my mom does not have an empty nest, so I had to make this stuff up. Okay, here we go. Back to our conversation. I'm going to grab an all over shadow brush and I'm going to go in this color right there. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to get it centered for the TikTok people. I apologize. So we're just going to give a couple of swipes right there. We're going to go on this inside right here and just get that color. We're going to go about 3/4 of the way across with this one. And you can see that's just a nice kind of creamy daffodil. There you go. That's what I would call this, daffodil yellow. It doesn't actually have a name, but that's what we're going to call it for today. So we're just going to get that right there. Again, I only have it on the one side of the brush so that the pigment does not end up on my cheek. And I'm going to go 3/4 of the way across. And then when you are looking forward, you just want to see that, especially if you have hooded eyes, it is sister from another mister. There you go. You want to make sure that as you're looking forward, you can see that yellow just peeking up right there. We want that yellow just peeking up right there. Okay, we're going to set that brush down. So I only used yellow on the one side. I'm going to grab, let me see if I have it over here. Please say yes. You know what? Let's do this one. This is an angled shadow brush. This is actually a MAC one, so I don't have any idea what the numbers are because I've had it so many years. But you can see it's kind of a mid fluff, and it has a nice little angle on the side of it. Perfect for doing a mock cut crease on that upper part and then getting some little side action going on so we can add some intensity and kind of round out the eyes. So I'm going to be in this one right here. We're just going to get it just on the face. So don't turn it sideways, just on the face of that. We're just going to get that right there. We're going to start on the outside edge. We're not V'ing it in today. Today we're just going to stay on that outside edge right here. And then I'm going to bring it right on that socket bone right there. You know what I feel like? I feel like when I was doing this yesterday, it acted a little more brown. You can kind of see that copper color. So we'll actually use this for our mid-tone because it's behaving differently today. So we're going to bump that right up to that beautiful yellow. And this will be our blend out color right here. So we're just going to, right over the edge of that, just soften that out. Let's do that same thing on the other side. So it's just going to fill all the way to that bright yellow that we did. And then we're going to go from the outside right on that socket bone, right to the inside. And then you're just going to take that edge and feather that up into that lighter color. So at this point, we're just giving us a foundation for blending. Now, if you see any fallout happening right now, go ahead and grab your fluffy brush. You can just go ahead and whisk that away. I'm going to take this brush and set that aside for just a second. We're going to go into this brush right here. So just a little bit of a fluffy smudger. This is a Morphe M431. And I need a little bit of depth because right now what I got is a little bit of a blending color, but not really any kind of contouring going on. So here's where we're going to do a little variant depending on your skin color. So if you have olive toned skin, if you have green eyes or hazel eyes, or brown eyes, I think, I would use this color right here. I think that color is going to lend itself best to being a dark color specific for your eye color. And I'm going to have to venture out, just in looking at it right now, I'm going to have to venture out of this quadrant just a little bit because I need something a little different for my eye and skin tone. So I'm going to go into this color right here, which is in the orange. I know it's outside of the yellow, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So we're going to grab this one. I'm going to go in here, just right on the tip. Just kidding on that. This one right here. We're just going to go right there on the tip with it. So just on the little tip. I'm going to come right out here and use that. I'm going to come up here with it. And I'm just using a little bit lighter pressure. This is going to work better if you use a lighter pressure with a little bit of color on it and just go over it a couple of times. So we're going to go here, just right there. I'm kind of making like a circle, kind of like a ball thing right there. It's just going to give us some intensity right there. And then we're just going to ride that socket bone right there. See the difference between the two sides? Right. If I didn't have to go to work today, I would show you the brown color. It really does look pretty. I tried it out yesterday. I just didn't have it today. So again, we're going to go back in there. We're going to go right here in the corner. We're just going to give a little color right there on that outside corner. And then we're going to bring it up and around right on the bottom part of that socket bone. And yes, I mean, if you have blue eyes, if you have paler skin, look at how blue my eyes look right now as a result of the oranges and the yellows. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we're just going to go over that again. Just going to give that a little bit. And then I'm going to, right on the outside edge of that, I'm just going to feather over it a little bit so we can soften that edge of that kind of burnt orange color. Okay, any fallout? Nice. Okay, so we're going to want to work some under the eye. So we've got a nice kind of color sequencing going on. So I'm going to grab the smudger. This, oh, is that the shorter one or is that the taller one? Hang on. That's the taller one. That's smudger. There we go. This is a Morphe M508. And we're going to use that same color that we just did. So I'm going to use just the tip, just the top of that smudger. We're going to go right in here. If you chose this color, then you're going to go into this one right here. That is going to be what you're going to use on the underside. So we're going to go just into that color, right on the outside corner. There you go. Bring that under. Now we're going to do something with the yellow in a second. So in this case, we're going to take that orange and we're going to go all the way to right there, all the way to that tear duct. And then I want to make sure that I've got that outside corner real good. So I'm just going to take it up around that corner and make sure that I've tapped that out so I got some good intensity right there. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so if you think you're going to be using the tan color, the brown color, drop me a heart emoji in the brown. If you think you're going to be trying it with the orange color, give me a orange heart emoji. Let me see what we got going on out here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to tap that off on my tissue I've got on my lap so it's all nice and clean. If you have another one, you can just grab that. We're going to take that. This time we're going to do that in the side. So we're going to take the side of it and go right here in this yellow. Just get it on that side. We're going to go right in here in the center and just put that on the inside corner. And then you're going to have that yellow meat. Oh. Okay, yes. So if you chose the brown heart emoji. If you chose the orange heart emoji. If you're completely confused, it's okay. Just do yellow. All right. So while I love all these colors so far, the blending came out really nice. I love the intensity of everything. Let me show you something. So in the center of this beautiful, there we go, of this beautiful one here, we have this wonderful shimmery, glittery thing. So we're going to take our middle finger. We're going to go into that shimmery goodness. Just swirl that around. Get you some on the edge of that finger and set that right in there. Set that right in there. I'm just going to walk that all the way around that lighter yellow that's in there. Oh, yes. Nice. I see those hearts coming. We got a pretty good balance between yellow, between the orange and the brown. Ooh, LinkedIn joining the conversation. Nice. Okay, I don't think the Instagram ones. Yeah, they're not. Okay, sorry. Yay for Instagram. Your stuff is not coming through for whatever reason. Okay, so now we got that yellow going on right here. Oh my goodness. Look at that. And yes, so I'm going all the way up to where that orange starts just under that eye socket right up there. Okay, now I told you we were going to do something else to the lips. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, even before we finish our eyes, because we already have it out and it's already on the tip of our finger. So go ahead and grab that right there. And we're going to transform our lips. You ready? Jesus Christ, there is You don't need to do anything special. That MAC lipstick has just enough tack to it that it is going to hold that. Look at that. Yes, it has just enough tack that it is going to hold that. Now, if you eat, so I'm not proposing that you starve. I'm saying when you eat, you're going to need to put fresh lipstick on and do that little blotting thing. So, you might take, unless you just want to take the whole palette with you, if you're going out somewhere, what you might do is just take a little tiny scrape of that and put that on the inside of, one thing you could, I know this is kind of like, maybe we're mixing STEM and makeup now, but the little cases that come with the little like SD cards and micro SD cards and all that. I have like a ton of them things laying around. You could take just a little scrape and swipe it on the inside of one of those, clip that bad boy shut and put that in your purse. And now you've got a little tiny swatch of some glitter that you could touch up without having to take this whole palette with you wherever you go. So there's you a little secret. Okay. So now we got that. Let's finish out what we're working on here. So I'm going to start out by grabbing my 24/7 liquid. It's not liquid. My pencil. This is a 24/7 Urban Decay, and this is Perversion. We're just going to get a little bit out here on the outside edge. We're only going to go like halfway with this. Let me get on the other side. Now I'm going to grab my mirror so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to go in that lash line right here. I'm just going to go about halfway so that you've got free and clear from the inside edge. That way I'm not closing down my eye. I'm just giving a little bit of intensity to the outside. So again, we're just going right here in that lash line. And you can kind of, rather than like swooshing it, you can just kind of tap it in there because we're just looking for a little bit of color. We just want a little bit of payoff. There we go. Now, if you feel that maybe you have covered up a little bit too much of the orange that you put on, you can always go back in with your brush and just bring that out a little bit more. Just depends on how much of the orange that you want visible. There we go. Now I am going to use a halfling lash today, so I want to give it the best possibility for staying all day. So I'm going to take my Too Faced Better Than Sex Easy Glide Liquid Eyeliner. This I store tip down. I'm going to go from the outside edge. And I'm going to go all the way to the inside. Now, yes, you're asking yourself, Wendy, you said you were using a halfling. Why did you just take that eyeliner all the way across? Because I wanted it to look like that halfling is actually a full strip lash. My lash is going to do the blend on that, but I love the wearability of the halflings. Yeah, I am not a fan for a lot of the naming conventions for some of these companies. There's one brand whose name I will not say. I won't even use anything they make because I think that the color names are just awful. So I don't actually use anything by that brand because I'm just not going to say some of them things. And when I first started working for Ulta, it did mortify me what some of these names were. I had a couple of moms bring back in a couple of different mascaras and say, this is not appropriate for my teenage daughter. Now, her kid came in and bought it. We didn't push it on or anything like that. But this name of product and line is not appropriate for my child. And I am returning these. And I'm like, Totally agree. I get it. I'm a mom too, so I would do it too. Okay, so now whatever your brow product is, we're going to go ahead and do that. Then we'll do our lashes. So I'm going to grab my Bad Gal Bang Wild Plum. This matches my hair color. So we're going to do that for my brows. You do whatever you're going to be using. For if you're using a colored mascara for a brow product, you're just going to hover that above your skin and just color those hairs ever so gently. I'm just going to shape that by stroking those hairs in the direction that they're growing or that they should be growing. And now we have a brow to be the frame on that eye look we just did. So same thing on the other side. Just again, hovering above that skin there. Brushing those brows in the place where they should go. If you have a void, like you can see I got one right there, you're just going to take the tip of that and just kind of tap it right there on your flesh. And it will fill in that spot just a little bit for you, just like that. And if you like big bushy brows, that is not me. I'm not your girl for that. There are a lot of other people who do the big bushy brows. So for today, that is what we are doing. I did not get big bushy brows from God. I got thin brows. So I'm going to fluff them out as best I can and enjoy them, but I don't like the caterpillar brows. Okay, let's get some mascara on there. We are going to grab this is the Maybelline, the Falsies. What is it called again? Maybelline Surreal, the Falsies mascara. There you go. And that is a waterproof mascara. And then I'm going to use my Tweezerman Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler. We're going to use the Verse to be our timer. And then we'll put those halfling lashes on. Okay, so grab your lash curler. Find that spot that when you crimp that lash down, it is not going to pinch your eyelid. Once you have that sweet spot right there, all the lashes are sandwiched in between those blades. You're going to crimp that down and let's say that verse together. But God loved us. God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. These are halflings, so let's say it one more time. But God shows his love for us and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Find that sweet spot. There we go. But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. And we're going to uncrimp that. Let's get that mascara, get your mirror or whatever it is that you need to see your lashes. There you go. I love that wand. Today we are going to do 2 coats on the, well actually we might do 3. We'll see how it comes out. On the top lash because these are halflings, so that strip lash is going to go it's a little more than halfway across your lash line. But we want our lashes to blend in with that. So I'm just going to tip off those lashes. So you're going to sweep back just like that on those tips. So just 1 coat to start with. And then we'll switch and do the other side. I'm using that tip to really get into the outside corners there. So that tip is just making sure the mascara is getting and covering all those lashes. And then we're sweeping back on those tips. So now we have 1 coat on our top lashes. Let's get a nice coat on the bottom lashes and then we'll do that 2nd coat on the top. So we're just going to put that wand back in, get that coated. And you're going to go from root to tip on this as well. Every single lash on those bottom lashes, you're going to get mascara on. We're going to sweep under those tips so that it's going all the way to the very edge. There we go. Then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So taking that wand out. Again, using that tip on those outside edges, making sure we're going all the way from root to tip. Okay, now our bottom lashes are nice and coated. I always kind of squint a little bit because once you get, now my bottom lashes are pretty long. So I squint a little bit because they lift those lashes up and allow that mascara to dry before it touches my cheek and gets anything on there. So if you have long bottom eyelashes as well, you may try that little bit of a trick to keep your lashes from touching and giving you those little black dots. Okay, so we're going to take that mascara wand again. We're just going to give a second coat on those lashes. I'm going to sweep back on the tips again. Okay, let's do that on the other side as well. I know you can see that sparkle, right? I had an eye twitch. Could y'all see that? Okay. Now, I've been talking about this halfling thing. I don't know that I've used a halfling on here before. I've made them, but I've not used one before. So this is the Ione halfling. And this one is the long-lasting Foxy. Here we go. Long-lasting Foxy crisscross half lashes. You can see what those look like. I love these. We're going to take them out of their box. Great thing about these, no trimming. No trimming is needed, but you will get a great lash look from these. So these, I'm going to grab my lash tool. These come on a clear tray. We're just going to open up that tray from the outside of the lash. You're just going to get that off that tray right there. Gently, gently. I'm going to set that down in front of me. Now, these are a flare. So there is a shorter edge on the inside and a longer edge on the outside. So these, once you set them down, it's going to be super easy to tell which lash goes where. Okay, so again, we're grabbing the outside edge of that lash to work that off the tray. Okay, great. Well, or you may have to help it just a little bit. There we go. There we go. Right there. Okay, so I was just asked about a follow-up from last week's pre-glued lashes. And while I love the Ione lashes, I found the pre-glued lashes to be, nope. They were, at 2 hours, they were already lifting on the inside corners. And at 6 hours or 5 hours, it was almost, the lift was almost halfway. So I'm going to go with a no on the half lashes. Now I do see something on, although I do love the lashes. I love the handmade, nice, soft way that the Iones work. I just didn't care for those. I do see on the inside of this, if you can see it, there is a little bit of a nub. So we're going to take this and we're going to trim, possibly, come on, that little nub off right there. And then there's another one on this edge. So we're just going to trim that nub off right there. Okay. Now let's take a look at the other one, because if that one had it, this one probably has it too. So yes, we do have a little bit of a nub here. So we're going to take that. Trim that off, and this little nub here. Okay, I think I took the nub from the other one and added it here. So we're going to take that little nub right there and just trim that off. Okay, so now we are, we're nub free. The way that I like to do, first let's soften these and then we'll put the adhesive on. So we're going to take this, we're going to grab both sides, and we're just going to roll that. That is going to soften that band up just a little bit. I have a very round eye, so that is going to help it to be the shape of my eye a little bit better. We're going to take the other one, grab that edge. This part you only have to do like maybe 1 or 2 times, because once you get it on your eye a couple of times and soften up, you don't need to worry about that. So we're just going to take that, do that. Then I'm going to grab that lash. Well, actually, let's do this here. We're going to do one eye at a time with this adhesive. And today I'm going to be using the Kiss Super Stick adhesive. This is the black. This is latex free. And I'm pretty sure this one is latex free now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, because you know, it always helps if you drop your product that you're using. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it with the feet. Okay, where's Wesley when you need him? Okay. Here we go. So we got the Super Stick. This is in the black. Like I said, I believe this one is latex free. I can't remember, but even if it isn't, I have latex sensitivity and I can wear this without a problem. So you do what works for you. We're going to take this. I'm actually going to shake this up because it's been just a second before I have wore this. So I'm just going to give it a little shake, make sure it's all nice and coated on that brush there. We're going to do one eye at a time. Now these lashes are halfling, so I'm going to go a little bit, almost a quarter of the way in, and then all the way to the outside corner. So we're going to do that. We're going to take this and we're going to go right here from about a quarter of the way. Oh, okay. That's an awful lot of product on that tip. Okay, I got that on there. I am going to try my best not to blink. I'm going to grab that halfling right there in the center, and I'm going to set that right on that adhesive that we just put there. So you can see the difference between the two sides. And actually, you know what it looks like? I'm wondering. No, I think I went down. Okay, here we go. Let's just give a little press in. That is our halfling lash. So I love that because you get some nice, well, you've also got that flare. So it gives you some nice power on that outside corner, but you don't have to worry about the pinching and the poking on the inside. So if you are ever bothered by pinching and poking on the inside, halflings are a great way to go. So let's go ahead and do that same thing on the other side. It looks like maybe right here on the inside. There we go. Okay, it keeps popping up. Okay, so maybe I'll come just a little bit more to the inside with the adhesive on this side. So I'm going to take that adhesive again. I'm just going to wipe off 1/2. We're going to go from about a quarter. Okay, once we've got that adhesive down, it tends to get really tacky quicker when you do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and take that lash. I'm going to set that down right on that line. Let's just go ahead and press that in, make sure everything stays nice and connected to each other. Okay. Nice. Now I'm sure it's because of the glitter. My eyes watering just a tiny bit. Okay. So let's set this so that it doesn't move all day. And I am really loving those halfling lashes. And you can see if you have blue eyes, that orange and yellow with the blue eyes, wow, they just look so much bluer. So we're going to grab that I already shook it, so it's all foamy. This is the Juvia's Place, ready, set, sealed. I'm going to grab that. Let's set this. You know, that's just a nice smelling set all the way to the very end. Okay, so we have done a foundation. We have contoured. We have added some beautiful color to our lips. Then we've added some yellow and orange to our eyes. We finished out the eyes with a nice shimmer glitter on the eye. And then we added that as a topper on our lipstick. So we've got a nice kind of cohesive look between the two things today. So, yes, yellow eyeshadow. That color can be beautiful on anyone of any age. You be the judge. You do you as to whether or not you like this. Now, you could, of course, do the same technique using any of the colors on that palette. In fact, mix and match. Mix and match the quadrants and see what it is that you like. Okay, so let's review our Bible verses that we have been working on. In week 1, we talked about being created by God. In Genesis 1:27, we are told, so God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. And then in week 2, we looked at the holiness of God, and we talked about Isaiah in the Old Testament, where it was foretold, Isaiah, I think it's 6:3, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And then we went to the New Testament after that, and we talked about Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So sin separates us from the holiness, the wonderful majesty of God. Then in week 4, we talked about how the cost of that, the repercussion of that, the consequence of that is that the wages of sin is death. The price of your sin is death. And so then we had the exciting news last week and this week as we continue on. We had the exciting news of Romans 5:8, and that, but God shows his love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And so, again, we talked about the coloring sheets and the different things. That is all going to be PDF. You can get that from the Beauty and Grace Insider. That helps you to get the PDFs for this and some extra bonus materials. It also helps support this podcast so that I can continue on in the ministry that this has, and just gives you a great space for, talking with other women and celebrating beauty and God together. So excited about all those things. Then we have the coloring for last week. If you did not get it downloaded or you didn't do it yet, we had a word scramble. So that is God Loved First. This is our word scramble, and that's going to help you with the verse as well. And then you've got a couple of different thought points and journaling things and prayer time in there. So take advantage of that. All right, so let me send you out with a blessing this week. I love Numbers chapter 6, verse 24. Well, verses 6, 24 through 36. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you peace. The Lord be gracious to you, and the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. I think I got my words a little bit out of order, but God knows the heart and the intent. All right. Heavenly Father, how wonderful it is to get to hang out with these ladies, whether they are live with me now or they are hanging out watching this later on. Father, I am so thankful for each one of them. I pray that as we continue on in our study of Romans chapter 5, verse 8, that you would continue to impress upon us the gift that is your son, Jesus, the gift that is that you loved us first. Father, I pray that you would help us to just sit in that this week, that we would think about that over all other things that we have going on in all of our busy lives. Father, I thank you for the time that I had with Phoebe, and I pray that one day I will get to see her again in heaven. And if that's not true, you know what is best, and so I trust you in that as well. Father, I just pray that you would be with each of us as we go out this week, that you would lead, guide, and direct us, and that we would listen to you, that we would hear your voice, and that we would see what it is that you have to show us. Father, I just pray that we would be diligent with our time with you this week. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Well, it has been a great time hanging out with you this week. I look forward to seeing you throughout the week on social media as well. So if you liked this video, if you found this makeup tutorial and look at scripture to be helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and share that. And I will see you online this week. If you have any look that you did with the technique or the product or the makeup that we did this week, please DM me or tag me in your posts. Let me see what you did and what you have going on. I cannot wait to celebrate that with you. If you have memorized the verse for this week and you want to, show that off and share that, please do that. Tag me in that as well. I would love to celebrate that moment with you as well. All right. So until next week, my friends, I will see you online. Mwah! I love you guys.